So I'm going to introduce what is texture metrics and how we can utilize these texture metrics for our analysis in remote sensing. So in general, we can explain texture as the spatial variation of image grayscale levels as a function of scale. So when combined with spectral data, texture provides another level of information for interpreting features in pixel-based classification. So texture is actually a qualitative characterization of an object in terms of its spatial and also structural attributes. For example, texture is the property that helps used to distinguish differences such as smoothness and roughness. For an example, when you consider cotton and silk, the texture of that two materials helps us to distinguish what is cotton and what is silk. This is basically what we are doing with remote sensing images. So there are two main primary kinds of texture metrics. So the first one is first order metrics. So first order metrics operates on count or occurrences of the different digital numbers, values within the kernel. So there are multiple first order texture metrics. For an example, mean, variance, entropy, skewness are some of the first order texture metrics that we can utilize in remote sensing. So second order metrics, on the other hand, analyze the relationship between pixel pairs. They use a co-occurrence matrix to calculate texture values. So this matrix is both the angular relationship as well as distance between two neighboring pixels. It shows the number of occurrences of the relationship between pixel and its specified neighbors as well. So in here, in the left side, you can see the original image of a high resolution dataset, and the others are some of the texture metrics that I have calculated for your reference. So you can see in mean, variance and entropy texture metrics, there are different outputs you can get. So depending on your requirement and also your purpose, you can calculate and make it easier for your classification or any other activities when you are working with remote sensing data. So there are multiple applications of texture measures, but in here I have only mentioned on three applications. So in order to develop improved forest stratum specific above ground biomass, you can use texture measures. So there are instances that people use, or the researchers have used WorldView 2 high resolution satellite data to model humid rainforest in northeast Madagascar. So I will include the link in the description, so you can read about those applications as well. Additionally, by logarithmic transformation of local texture measures such as mean, variance, skewness can be further utilized to expand the contrast of the texture transform, which will definitely help you in the process of edge detection and image enhancement. So important note is that you can either use multispectral satellite sensor data and also SAR data or radar data without any restrictions for texture measures. The only requirement is that should be on the correct image format like TIFF or PNG. In next, I am going to show you how you can conduct texture measures with Google Earth Engine. So when you are conducting texture metrics, so it is really important that you obtain an image with a high resolution. So for this example, I am going to use a high resolution aerial imagery dataset given by the National Agricultural Imagery Program, and you can access this data in the Google Earth Engine. So there is around 15 or 16 years data availability from 2003 onwards, and it has RGB and also the near infrared datasets. So if you need more information about this, you can see it has the red band, green, and including the near infrared band also. So it also gives a 1 meter resolution of the data, which is a really high resolution and really useful when conducting texture matrices. So you can also search the required image from USGS website, and you have to make sure to select the images in the periods between the data availability of Google Earth Engine. So in here I have chosen image over Miami area. So if I zoom in, you can see it's in this area. So you can get the entity ID from here and import it directly to the Google Earth Engine. So I have imported that image to the Google Earth Engine, and then I have added, we can also view the map for the time being here. So for that I'll just comment it out this rest of the code and run the program. So you can see so by looking at the image you can see how high the resolution is, because the details are extremely clear and really useful when conducting texture matrices. So the next what I did was I imported the near infrared band. I specified here the band number as n, because in here you can see the near infrared band name is n, and then I specified the kernel with the radius of 3, and then I have used the entropy texture matrix for this example. So in here you have to make sure to specify the band you require. So if you prefer to conduct the texture analysis or the entropy to a different band, you can import that image in that band and conduct the entropy analysis to that. So likewise you can conduct various text analysis. So let's run the program. So it might take some time to create the entropy layer. So now you can see the entropy layer has been created.